Welcome in to another episode of the DNVR Rapids podcast. We are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. Make sure you enter promo code DNVR when you sign up and download the app. It is a loser's lounge, and it's a loser's lounge that doesn't just feel like a loser's lounge because of the scoreline. Lot to go over. Rapids fall 2-1 at home to Minnesota. Biggest loss of the night, though, not on the score sheet, but is Jack Price. A non-contact injury, goes down, had a brace around his heel as he was carted off at the end of the game. To me, that says Achilles,
Yeah,
possibly.
he had a nice back underneath
I can't see what
ankle.
else it would be. Yeah,
I
there's
think
non-contact, goes down. Goal Bassett returns to the dick. Poked one in off of a rebound. It was a nice goal. It was a deserved goal. It wasn't the nicest goal. It was kind of junky, but it was good to see
it
one go
wasn't
in.
weak like some
Yeah.
dude on
Look, it was a
Twitter
good goal.
saying. Yeah, it
He
was
was
a
in the
good
right
goal,
spot.
yeah.
He scored a goal. And for about 4 minutes, the vibes were through the roof for about 4 minutes. And then a penalty on a handball by Danny Wilson. And then you get Price and Rubio on. And I think it was about 7 minutes of game time before Price goes down, about 10 minutes before he's subbed off. Where do you want to start with this one, man? I'm gonna dish this one off to you. Let's. There's a few ways we could go here, but
First thing I want to say off the bat, that pitch was absolute shit.
yep.
For the amount of money they spent on replacing it, it was absolute shit, and that completely contributed to Jack getting injured.
Maybe.
It's not the main reason, it's not the only reason, but it definitely contributed to Jack getting injured at least a little bit. Because he flipped, like he completely flipped, and as he flipped is when you could see him start wincing. It wasn't he didn't fall because all of a sudden his Achilles, like no, like it was more he felt. Then he's like shit.
Yeah, and there was another moment later on the with Yappy kind of getting a ball from Yarborough on the right side. It was right down in front of us on press row, and you could see this gash in the field about yards long, and it's still there right now. I guarantee it. Yeah, man. I don't know how much it cost to replace that. I remember when the Broncos replaced it for the last game of the season at Mile High. That cost $400,000. So
it was around there, 200. I think what I heard.
Oh my lord!
That's kind of the reason that Danny Wilson gets the handball too, because Lawless slips on the pitch.
Yep.
In that back corner, because he tries to turn, he loses his footing, and then now Minnesota's on the attack. Wilson also should just put his hands behind his back, like every defender is taught. But again, it's kind of a brutal blow because it was like you had control. Lawless was about to make a play, completely slips, falls, and Danny Wilson makes the mistake of giving them a handball and a penalty. And it's not an excuse. That's not the reason that they lost. It's not but it just sucks when the Rapids spend that much money on that pitch and it's clearly impacting the game, whether negative, because also it also injured some of the Minnesota players. Minnesota was also struggling. And and it's like it's just impacting the game negatively, both sides.
This was a really physical game. It was simultaneously physical and wide open. You know what I mean? Hey, shout out to the birthday boy Dwayne Brown in the chat, man. Let's drop some happy birthdays in there if you're that poor guy loses his favorite guy on the planet, Jack Price, on his birthday. It's rough. We love you, bud.
We couldn't uncurse him. We're sorry, Dwayne.
We tried.
We tried really hard.
But look, it was physical. It was also up and down. Man, it was like a really it was a fun game. If you take away the absolute disaster of a Jack Price injury and the scoreline, they played well enough to win this game comfortably. I thought they played well enough to win, and it doesn't matter because why say stuff like, what's the point of saying stuff like that right now, right? Like,
Like, I don't care how good you played. I,
no,
I'm done with that. Like, giving
yep,
you, oh, you played great, just got unlucky. I don't give how unlucky you were. I
straight
really
up,
don't, because you got to get results. You got to find the great, and I'm starting to find ways to believe in this team. Taking leaps of faith are no longer helping me because I want
no,
the team to be good, but
yeah,
clearly they haven't showed one single thing to tell me they are good. Just because you play good doesn't mean that you are good, and just because you have talented players doesn't mean you are good. It just feels like, as a collective, there's not meshing, and there's nothing they can do right now, good or bad, to help themselves.
yeah, and we can get into picking out players. I think there are some things there in terms of some encouraging signs from specific players, but that's in the flowers later. For right now, it's just
It's sad boy hours. Like, it really
it's
is
sad,
sad boy hours.
dude. God damn, it is so bad.
Like,
Rubio comes on. He's on the ball a little bit, but pretty much invisible. I don't like Yappy outside trying to get balls to Rubio. Those two need to be a tandem, one in front of the other. It doesn't work. We've seen Yappy pushed outside after subs, I think, for 3 straight games now. And I think he has maybe 2 crosses that I would call like effective, you know? It just was, it's tough to see. You need Lewis to get healthy. You need Cabral to find his way. I mean, is Sam Nicholson the best winger on this team right now? Like,
I, dude, it's between him and Mikey, the two
because
guys that we had on the
he
bench.
looked really good today.
He did, like, literally, him and Mikey were the two guys that I'm like, wow, like, they're being dynamic. They're forcing the defense to
What
press
is
them,
happening?
and it's like, you have Gavon that just maybe had a setback. I'm hoping it's conditioning.
there's a rash of hamstrings going on right now too.
Lawless was okay today. Like, he
Yeah.
was back after getting injured last game, which gives me a little hope. Then you have
Well,
Captain Jack, who immediately comes in and is impactful,
yes,
and
immediately.
then 8 minutes in, he's out. And
Man,
again, part of me was like, keep him out. This pitch is shit. Don't put him out there. Same thing with Rubio. I'm like, don't put these two guys out that are coming out from injuries.
Frazier wanted those 3, so he wanted 3 points so bad. The second that you saw them both come on, the second that penalty goes in, you see him getting ready. Like, you see him come over to the bench. It's he wants a result so bad that
I get it, but now, like, you jeopardize the season because you might have lost arguably your best player.
you can't. It's tough to say that
It's hindsight 2020, right?
yeah.
We
I
can look back
mean,
and say,
what are
like,
you gonna
oh,
not put in your
yeah,
2 best players if they're available? And
they're not. Again, it's not. I'm not even blaming Frazier,
no,
but
it
like,
just
hindsight's
sucks.
2020,
Yeah,
because like, now it's like, you've seen the pitch is bad. That pitch was really, really bad, and I think it contributed a little bit to the injury, even if it wasn't the main reason.
yeah.
I think it, because he was running by himself,
It was
nobody
It
around
was
him.
completely non-contact. It was the turf monster, man.
Exactly, and it's like, and that pitch had been bad all game. It was one of the reasons that they conceded that goal, that first penalty. It's
Yeah,
not the only reason. They also made mistakes,
yeah.
but
Max had a rough game in possession for sure. Let's zoom out a little bit. No Keegan on the 18 picked up a hamstring in training late this week. Gersbach with the hamstring in the San Jose game. Beta with a hamstring. That's 3 hamstrings in the same position. Well, at outside back. So you see what's really a back 4 with Lawless either being the right back or Max Sue playing the left back, depending on who goes up with Marcanic and Sam Nicholson. You see Yappy up top with Mikey, and then whoever else is working those, whichever other outside back is working up.
wherever they want to tilt the field,
Max got the start, which I was so excited for.
I think he had some flashes. Like, I didn't think he had a bad game. It just wasn't as strong as he usually is with the ball. Like, there's
he was
times
thinking
he
a little
keeps
too
the
much.
ball.
I think he was kind of doing the Yappy thing, where it's just like,
in his
you
own
need
head.
less touches when you get the ball. Like, I think for both of them, they need Like there was a moment for Yappy specifically where he kind of tried to receive a ball. He was just inside the box and he had Bassett about 4 yards just on the other side of the 18-yard line. And instead of touching it to him, he tried to touch it to himself. Couldn't corral it. And, instead he could have just one touched it right there, left it off for Bassett for a shot. And they're both just thinking too much. They need one touch, two touch, and I think everyone's doing it. It's just, it is.
Their first touches, almost everybody on the team was not good today either.
They
were long. Every touch was really long, and Minnesota was able to counter a couple of times because of it.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, man, they aren't playing bad.
No, and the defense isn't, and it sucks because the defense is probably the bright spot.
Exactly, and they're not playing bad. Like, I can say that confidently.
Yeah,
but they're also not playing good, though. Like,
no, you're right.
They're not playing bad, but they're also not playing good. They're the J. Lou syndrome, Kevin. There you go. That's the new name.
And the J. Lou syndrome. Jesus Christ.
And again, like they're not playing bad, but they always make that little mistake. Even like in every play, they make that little mistake where they don't get the pass across, where they don't get the touches too long, where they don't find the open guy.
Yeah.
Bassett's goal was almost not a goal, and it could have been almost a guaranteed goal if he just got Yappy outside the 18. Yappy did the exact, and then J. Lou did the exact same thing to Bassett. Again, it was offside, but didn't see Bassett, which Bassett was right there open in front of the goal. And it's like these are the things that make you from starter to good to great to elite. And right now, the Rapids it feels like they're playing a bunch of bench players.
Yeah.
A bunch of just guys that can barely make or like fringe first teamers. And that's not how you build a professional soccer team, especially in a league that's exponentially growing and getting better. And and it's not because these players aren't good, but it just feels like they're missing that little extra thing. And I don't know what it is. If it's a mentality thing, I don't know if they're just not ready, but it feels like they're just missing that little. They're 90% there. They're missing the 100 to actually be a full team.
I think it's interesting the way you put it. It just kind of clicked something for me. It feels like they have, and almost every position, a fully optimized 11. Feels like you have starters everywhere, but they're just not top. There's no one that's top 10 at their position as a starter. No. You know what I'm saying?
The only one that you might argue was Jack.
Yarby's been playing as an elite keeper this season.
So, it honestly, it might be like Jack, Rubio on a good day, and Yarby, how you said, and Maxu. I'll give Maxu that.
Sure, but outside of that, it feels like, and I think it's why it's been so hard to really turn this roster over is because, like, everyone's good enough to play, no one's good enough to be great. Does that make sense? Like, they're not like they're all good enough to not focus on improve, you know what I mean, on like turning that spot over, because they are good enough to start at the MLS level, and a bunch of them are. But what you see is just this disjointed team, and I think I underrated how long it's going to take, because to me these are all professionals. Like, they all play soccer. It doesn't matter what team you were on last year, you're on this team now. You go out on the field and you play soccer like you do, because you're a professional soccer player, and it really is taking a ton of time to gel. Like, you see it you saw it with Ralph after he came in to replace Jack. He would force the turnover, get the ball in possession, try and start it off, and it goes nowhere, right? He passes it to the other team. You saw it. There was from the mid, like, they were doing a great job playing out of the back, doing a great job getting it to about midfield, and it was that pass from midfield to the final third that just evaded them all night long. All night long, you could not finish that pass. And I don't know if it was the pitch, if it was the cold, if it was just, it's tough. It was tough, man.
It really is, especially, and you saw the difference when Rubio came in. The creativity flowed a little bit more. You had a little bit more of a connector. You had somebody that can get the ball, how you said, from that midfield to that final third, where you can get things a better flow, get that opportunity. Maybe they didn't have any clear ones, but you saw that there was a thought process of trying something new, trying to get the ball to your best players out there, and it seemed like it didn't work. Like, it felt like you're missing. If you really need Rubio to be that guy, I get it, but he's also in the final year of his contract. And you guys haven't settled with him yet. You need a
He's also
contract to
not.
Rubio.
He's not a connective. Like he's
Exactly.
not a connector. He's a finisher. And yeah, he'll have plenty of assists, right? Like
Yeah.
he was top 3 in assists on the team last year, something like that. He but he's not the guy that makes that midfield a passing network, right?
Exactly.
And man, do we want to get into this now? Like seeing what Dwayne just said there with the summer window. Let's
Dwayne, just hop on the show, Dwayne.
Happy birthday, Dwayne.
Yeah, we love you, man. Take your day off if you want to hear us
get out of here
for fun. Hear us for fun. Don't work.
If Jack Price is out for the season, which I would be shocked if they say anything other than Achilles tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, does Porg have to make a move this week?
He does. I think he does. And it's not because I don't believe in Prezo. It's not because I don't believe in Brian Acosta.
I mean, I don't. If
No,
I'm being honest, I don't.
But they're good players.
Sure, but they're rotation guys.
Exactly. You're getting back to the point where you're starting to get that French starter again. So you're just replacing a star, in my opinion, in Jack Price with a French starter again.
What's Dubai's transfer window situation right now? Can we get Felipe back from Dubai?
Doubt it.
Please.
And again, like Ronan's playing the pivot, but like you want Ronan to play that 8.
God, man.
So he can run back and forth because he's that creative. Him and Cole maybe playing the 8 would be a little bit easier, and having Jack playing that pivot would make it a little bit nicer. You know what I mean? But it is maybe that you have to go get another 8.
I would say maybe you try and steal like Hector Herrera or somebody from Houston, but he just scored today for the first time in the MLS.
Don't go get Hector Herrera. You had to go get Vera from them. Go get Coco if he's available.
I'm just trying to think of names that you could swing at this point in the season, because it probably has to be an inner MLS move.
Yeah, because nobody's gonna want to. Everybody's gonna try to replace that player,
and it's gonna cost you $1 million.
Exactly.
It's gonna cost you $2 million. The Rapids are in a terrible place right now. If this is a serious Jack Price injury,
which
it is.
True.
I mean, there is. Absolutely it is. You lose Rubio for 2 weeks at least, right? You lose Yappy. So now you're down your best goal scorer, your distributor, and the guy who is supposed to kind of bridge the next phase of this offense. I mean, this is dire straits, bro. This is like
it's a bad vibe right now. Like it's an extremely bad vibe. What are you gonna do if you don't have your best player? And you immediately saw what Jack Price's set pieces do. Immediately, that ball that hits the crossbar, that was from Jack Price, right?
What?
That ball that hits the crossbar was from Jack Price, correct?
I think so.
It
was on the other side of the field. It was tough,
Yeah, to see. I think it was Jack. But the set pieces, you could definitely see they were a lot crisper, a lot nicer, and not like you're missing your best set piece taker. What do you do?
I don't know. And I mean, look, I think there's someone on every team you take out and it doesn't work. I don't think the Rapids are alone in having a pivotal guy to kind of be the secret sauce. That's not a unique situation in the soccer world.
For most teams, at least.
For most teams.
Yeah, there's teams like, Minnesota's proving it. Minnesota's doing great without Reynoso right now. They're tied for second place with 7 points. You got Philly that's doing great without
Yeah, but they blew it to Montreal today.
Exactly. Now Philly is starting to crack a little bit too.
Yeah. It's interesting because you have St. Louis all of a sudden with the second best start in MLS history. Not expansion.
It's the best now.
Well, no, one is the best expansion start. Second best non-expansion start.
Yep.
Only one team has won 5 to start a season. St. Louis is at 4. It's a bizarre league, and I don't think it's too late, but you really have to look in the mirror this week and figure out do we have Porg really? I mean, this is I think this is the most pivotal end of a spring window that he's had, period. Period. He really needs to figure out if he can find somebody the offense doesn't work. You have to replace Price. if he, I don't want to make any definitive statements here, right? But like, if this is your, if he looks at this club and says this is good enough to get us through to the summer window, it's wooden spoon time.
Yeah, I think it might be. And again, the MLS is a very forgiving league.
Yeah.
Super forgiving. You can lose 10 and maybe still make it. You know what I mean? Your
Yep.
first 5 and not it may have 0 points to your first 5 and still make the playoffs because you only have to be better than 4. It's super forgiving. It might be possible to still. It's still definitely possible to recuperate, how you said.
Absolutely. I don't think it's
But
lost, but it's time to make a decision.
it's time to change something. But
Mhm.
what's that change? We were talking about changes.
Mhm.
Talked about the badge. Maybe it's just put on a different jersey, and that might uncurse you at this point. Honestly, like literally wear another team's jersey, and like that might help you.
Well, I mean, Yappy and Rubio are going to go do that. They're out the door.
But again, how does that help the Rapids? Because now you're out of striker, and you got Cabral and Calvin Harris.
Well, I mean, you know,
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
we were talking about this
scenery.
post game. We were talking about this post game. It was me and Plone from the Post, and we were talking about how
Shout out Plone.
Shout out to our guy. How it's tough to, you know, in my mind, it's like, I don't know. I mean, Yappy obviously is going to go, but he's in about as bad a form as you want to see going into a camp. And does this help? Does this help? Like, maybe it unlocks something, but maybe it makes it worse if you're gone for 2 weeks and you have to come back and be a critical piece, right? Like, it's in such a confusing place. And I mean, I think we'll have a lot more clarity by Thursday when we do our show, you know, like our regular weekly show. But right now it's just, there's so many ways this team needs to look itself in the mirror, whether it's players, I think coaches, I think front office is like, this is a really pivotal time right now, especially with the result, right? Because not only did you lose Price, but you lost the game.
And again, this is gonna sound really bad. It's gonna sound like I'm telling you right now, earmuffs. It's either time to nut up or shut up.
It's not up or shut up.
And it's true. It's time to show what you're made of. Time to take out the grit. Time to take out the dog. If you're not gonna win fancy, if you're not gonna be able to, you gotta grit it out. You gotta be grind. You gotta grind. You gotta.
This back
you
five
gotta
is
be
going to be the thing for sure. It's the going forward.
There's no other choice. And
No. And it looks good. It looks
it
good.
does. It really does. It looks better than how they were playing the other way. And then maybe now you can put Rubio and Yappy up top because now you're playing with 2 forwards.
Pull up Justin's question there. I can't put this on Frazier. I can't.
I
think formationally,
it's hard.
I think he's pivoted well enough that the formations, right? Like he's putting, it's not necessarily the best 11 out there, I think, if you're just looking at talent, but I think it's the most effective 11 that you can put out there right now. But he can't put the dog in Cabral. That's on Cabral, right? He can't, you know, what am I trying to say here? Yeah, it's like
that's what he's trying to say. If you're creating chances and everybody out there saying you're playing good, but not winning and not getting results, at what point do you look at the players and look at where's your dog?
Yes.
Because the coach can only tell him what to do. And if what he's doing is universally being looking at it and you're just like, this is a good team. There's a team that's playing good, but just not winning. It's kind of hard to put it. Again, I'm not taking any fault off Frazier because Frazier deserves some fault too. It's a team. Frazier should be better with different things. Maybe he does need to try a different tactic. Maybe he needs to bring out let Tasso and get really angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's on him to motivate his guys to do these things too. But it's also he's not out there playing the game. He really isn't. He isn't out there trying to win. He isn't out there putting the cleats on and like, let's go, guys. And also, let's be honest, Frazier's doing great for what he's been giving the last 3 years.
I think so. I don't know.
Salary cap, like, you know, and I know people are going to attack us because they think you're defending Frazier. No, I'm not defending Frazier. But I'm also trying to put it in perspective of, like, you look around the league. Look at the Greg Bannies. Look at the Jim Curtins. They have expensive players that have worked out for them.
Mm-hmm.
They have players that Kai Wagner's one of those guys that should be out there in Europe, you know? But that's because Kai Wagner maybe wanted it more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Gazdag is another one that they spent, I think, $2 million on or something like that. last time the Rapids spent anywhere near 2 million, I think it was with Gashi.
Ugh,
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
God.
it's like even though these teams are built from academy, even though some of these teams do have these like we're gonna try to bargain and play money ball, they also spend a little bit of money to fill in the spots that they need
Mhm.
help in. And it
Mhm.
feels like the Rapids having they're just going bargain hunting, bargain hunting, bargain hunting, bargain hunting, and that's fine. It's okay, but you also need to bring a little bit of proven commodities to help you create a better team.
Well, it's bargain hunting for vets, and it's big spending on upside, and
Benefits also
it's a
like
dangerous
again,
game. It's a
it
dangerous
is.
game because you look at the money they've invested in some of these guys, right? Like Max, big money, right? Gus,
Exactly.
big money.
Exact. And
You know,
again,
it's these guys that you're banking on turning into something, and then you're bringing in your Acostas and your Betas, and it's these guys that are just
and Kevin, expensive players and Benazet Mac. If we're trying to blame Frazier, fine, go ahead and blame him. What did Benazet do with Seattle? Shit, he's not with the team anymore. What is Mac doing out there in
he scored
Toronto?
today. Mac
Benazet?
did score today. Yeah,
Mac did score today, but how long has
yeah,
he been there?
yeah. I mean, yeah. No, he
Exactly.
hasn't been great. No, no,
Exactly.
no, no.
That team
Yeah.
has also been shit. You hear national pundits, you hear people from Toronto, and they're asking more from Max.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
From Mac, not Max,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
They're
No, no,
asking
no.
more from him. Like these, just because they're expensive, and they don't work out for the Rapids. They're not working out in other places either.
Yeah,
Look at Namely; it didn't work out for Namely either. Like, these guys are just not working out anywhere they go, and it might be a little bit on the
yeah.
front office and their scouting squad that they're not finding the right players for the money ball or to spend the money on. But it looks like they got it right in Maxu, right?
I think so. I think Maxu, I think Ronan. Just real quick, shout out everybody jumping in the chat after such a brutal game, man. B-Ray, Jim, Logan's in there, Kevin. Everyone in there. Eric. Shout out to you guys, man. Grant. Good to see all you guys in there. That's fucking cool.
Man, appreciate you guys.
But yeah,
again,
I think there's some keepers, but the problem is it's like it feels like they're like, I don't know. Maybe obviously this is all just super reactionary to this game, right? But like
yeah, again,
it just
tomorrow we're
feels
gonna wake up feeling different. I know we
yeah,
are.
but it
Yeah.
just feels like it's like, hey, look it, we got these three guys, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, keep going. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's not the time to stop. And it's just Dwayne asking the important questions in the chat. How was the C38 mini donuts? I didn't make it to C38 tonight. I was enjoying a warm, sunny Saturday in my backyard, and then
Lost
I was like,
time.
yeah, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta get to the game. Man, I don't know, dude. It's
Again,
brutal.
I'm not trying to take any blame off Frazier. I think he deserves blame too. But when I look at the totem pole of the list of things that are wrong with this team,
He didn't put a
Frazier
handball.
is
He didn't have a
Frazier.
handball in the box.
Frazier for me is not top 5.
No,
To me, he's again, and I'm not saying he
I
has
think
done
he's top
everything right.
10-ish.
Again, top 10ish, and it's
Yeah.
fine. But people are putting all the blame on coach because it's the easy thing to do.
You're not going to find a lot of guys with, the playing knowledge and the league knowledge that he has. You're just not.
You're not exactly.
Who are you going to replace him with? Obviously people will throw names in the chat, but how many of them are actually going to be better? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Who wants to sign up to come here? This team is ranked dead last in value. They don't score goals. They give up goals. They don't have an academy that produces talent on a regular basis. They have an owner who doesn't hand out money at all. It's like I love this pivot to the 5-3-2 that kind of is just an amorphous 4-3-3 depending on who's, which side of the ball and which way they're rotating. I think it's a great pivot after the start of the season, and it's worked. Like they scored on a set piece and a penalty. It's not like the defense is killing them like at all.
Exactly, and not just that, dude. You look at it this way: it's the got scored 4-0. Comes back.
They got their ass kicked. That was an ass kicking.
They got their ass kicked. They got scored 4 goals on them. Then the defense completely solid, could become solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've become the best part of the team so far.
Mm-hmm.
And where's the credit for that, for getting the team a little bit better off?
I think it's all right.
You deserve some credit, like for pivoting to a back 5,
for sure.
you? And making the defense a little bit more solid. And then you look, and then you go back and like, okay, he deserves some credit. Not all the credit. Again, it's the team, but he deserves a little credit for that. Why don't we talking about these things about the Frazier that has done right too? He's done a lot of bad things. Defensively, his metal mole. He knows what he's doing there. But offensively, he might need a little help. He might need somebody to go out there and help him offensively more.
Yeah, and I don't know what that is because they have a great set piece coach. They have a great keepers coach. I like their coaching staff. Like
And again,
I don't know what the answer is. And maybe Thursday we have more. Right now I am at a loss because it feels like they should have 6 points right now.
it does. And if you release Frazier, I promise you,
It doesn't fix anything.
No, and teams are going to be clamoring to be able to sign him.
Yep.
You guys don't understand that like Frazier's actually sought after because they know that the ownership in Denver and Colorado, whatever you want to call it, is not bad. It's really bad. They don't invest how they should sometimes.
Well, any name that anyone drops right now is going to be one that Kroenke's not going to pay for.
Exactly.
You think Kroenke's going to pay Berhalter to come in?
Jesse Marsh?
Yeah, come on.
Henry, come like they're not coming here, dude. First of all,
it's not going to be anyone you've either heard of or like. So, like, what? It's not Frazier, and honestly, and he had his best game of the season, but like starting now, it's Cole Bassett time. You need to put it on, and I think he's starting to find a little more. I think defensively, he had his best game, at least his most involved game.
Most active for sure.
And Grant, obviously we would like to acknowledge Ten Hag the God, but he's never going to leave Manchester. Thank you very much. Okay, move on.
There's my thing. Correct. Thank you. Like there's exactly what you're saying. Like
that's what's happening. Yep.
Yeah.
It would be someone you've never heard of from a league somewhere, and that's just the way it is. That's being a Rapids fan.
Honestly, he's gonna bring Anthony Hudson back. Anthony Hudson 2.0. No. He's gonna try Connor Casey, see if he can do with a full season, and then he's gonna bring in and then if that doesn't work, he'll just like let's go Pablo Ball again. Pablo Mastroeni, you want another shot once you get released from Raw Salt Lake?
No, I wouldn't want it. Get out of here. I don't. Man, this is just the most bummer podcast we've ever done.
It's depressing, but that's the state of the team, and it sucks because even Montreal got a win against Philly,
and it's Austin on the road, LAFC at home.
And Austin might not be as bad because they just lost 2-0 to Houston. A Houston team that I don't think is that good. Austin's been struggling. They also got dropped by a Haiti team.
They got destroyed by that Haiti team.
Like they're like Austin might be. The thing about the Rapids is we live in misery. This is the first time Austin has to have misery after their highs.
Right, because they've now tasted something good.
Exactly.
This is comfortable for the Rapids. Everyone try it at home right now. This is how we operate, baby.
That meme like that? This is fine, and there's flames all over the dog. That's being a Rapids fan all the time, like.
Because it is, because you're used to it. This is, it's funny because we were looking up teams that have gone 4 games without a goal. 2 teams have done it before. Rapids avoided that tonight. But one was the 2007 Toronto FC. Do you want to take a guess at the other?
I'm going to say 2014 Rapids.
It was the 2015 Colorado Rapids.
Damn, I was so close. Yep. I figured it was gonna be one of around that
days. Yep, the dark days. Yep. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's the Rapids got to. This is a look yourself in the mirror week, right? I didn't go to the presser tonight, so I don't.
Mitchell was like, I'm not.
I messaged you immediately. I was like, nope.
Jim is also Mitch also on the way home threw up because the Rapids just put a pit in his stomach.
It's true. Yeah.
He's officially in Pitt's life.
Ugh.
He's getting pitted.
I don't know what he said. I'm sure it wasn't good. Frazier has been, everyone complains that all anyone does is spin. I'm in those press conferences. Frazier has not been happy about this, right? Like,
yeah.
But I think he's talking kind of like how we end up in all these post games, which is like they're like because everything's a disaster, there are these little things that are good, but this is a week where it's time to look in the mirror. It's time to look in the mirror. What is working? What isn't? Do we have to make moves? Because you have another month in the window, right? Ish. Something
Yeah,
like that.
give or take.
It
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Price getting hurt though, man. I keep coming back to that. Like it's thank goodness.
Eric, we say that right now. If they would have lost, we would have been just as miserable.
It's true.
That just adds to the misery. Like it's all it is. It's like this team might be the unluckiest team to ever walk the earth.
Oh, hey Jim, yes, we are in the dark days again. And Kevin, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that they do that. J. Lou hung out, $5 beers after the game. Shout out.
Again, and J. Lou's super dope too, dude. J. Lou's a great guy.
My wife works for Oscar Blues.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're involved.
You feel kind of connected more to the team, right? It's weird, but you feel a little bit connected.
Great. Yeah,
Like,
great.
you
Just
feel
what I
like,
need. Just what my mental health needs is more connections to this club.
but again, I'm like, I I don't want to be a downer. I try to be really positive.
I kind of want to be a downer, if
But
I'm being honest.
but it's
like
at this point, it's not being a downer though. It's just being realistic. I had him second in the West. Like, how is anybody gonna tell me that
I thought they would have a home game. I thought they would be fourth and it would be close.
I thought they were winning today.
They should. I mean,
They were this close to winning, but then
they have led for as many minutes in this season as they have games played. How's that sound? A month in.
That's so bad. And there's still time. I said give them 10 games. I said it at the beginning of the season, 10 games to gel. But I was hoping that at least pick up some results.
You would think
on the way
Rubio
there.
is. You think Rubio would have played? You think
Yeah.
Bryce would have played by then? And now it's like, can Ronan be your pivot, or is it going to be? Or is it going to be Ralph? Is it going to be Acosta? Are you going to see Max start more? Are you like?
Honestly, man, I think the best way to put this at this point is you need to invest in the team.
Yeah, you have to go get someone. Price, if the Price injury is bad as we are assuming, which again we do not know, there's not confirmed.
Yeah.
Right, but if he is on for the season, you have to go get a midfielder. You have to.
And the thing is, this is what happened. And I use Ted Lasso a lot, not because Ted Lasso is the say all end all, but it does actually a kind of good job of seeing human relations inside a team, that they're not just FIFA players that you can sub in and sub out, that there's real emotions in this. We remember.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like when what's his name? The Jack Grealish lookalike. I forget his name.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Jamie Tart.
Mm-hmm.
And then Danny Rojas comes in. And then he kind of settles back in and is like, okay, I need to earn my job again.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what the Rapids need. They need an infusion of talent and somebody that puts some pressure on their ass, that maybe that will make something click. That's kind of what you need, because that's how human dynamics work.
Yeah. And that actually kind of brings to a little more meta point, not to get too like philosophical on this, but I kind of noticed that this week with the whole, R2 reporters mess, is like there are people, like everyone goes there and goes to work, just like everyone listening here, on Monday morning is going to go to work and do their job and have, and when forces outside of your control, like a Price injury or a 4-game losing streak, I mean, obviously everyone has a little bit of control in that, but it's got to be tough. Like these guys this is going to be a tough week in training. Everyone's going to be down. They lost Pricey. They lost again. They have 1 point. Rubio's leaving town. I don't know, like, Keegan's hurt. Beta's hurt. Like, Gersbach's hurt. Like you're looking around, it's a skeleton crew. Like, what do you do? Like, what's the message? Like, what? That's probably the hardest job that Frazier has this week.
It's, again, I think it's, part of me is like, this just goes much deeper than just a team. It goes deeper into, like, you need to invest in the team a little bit. You need to bring in some guys, some infusion of talent, some infusion of like, hey, get together.
Sure.
I mean, Portugal said it multiple times, right? He's like, my job is to replace you.
Right.
Your job is to show me why you shouldn't be replaced. Right now, there's maybe 5 to 6 players on the in the 18 that have shown him that shouldn't be replaced.
Yeah. hmm Yep. That's about
What
right.
about the rest?
Right. Right. Okay, but that's poor. Okay, so that's what Porig has to do going to work this week. What does Frazier have to
Yeah,
do going to work this week?
Frazier unfortunately has to look these guys in the eye and be like, "Hey guys, I
You're not
know
being
we've
good enough.
lost.
Yeah.
You're not good enough. Where have I been bad? Now tell me where you've been bad." And if they can't own up to their own mistakes,
hmm
because me telling you you're bad doesn't mean it's not gonna make you think you're good. It's gonna make you defend yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I've talked to a lot of these guys, right? I've talked, I don't think I've ever actually talked to Yarby because he, hates talking to anybody that's not on the team. But I've talked to most of these guys on this team. They're all pretty introspective, man. Like I don't think anybody is under any illusions there. I don't think one person on this roster is like everything's going great, right?
I
Like
again, yeah,
I don't think there's one person who's like, "Oh, we're good. We're great. Let's do this." And I wonder what those conversations are. Like I'm really curious. This is a I feel for him. I feel for him because I know him, because I've talked to these guys enough times. This is going to be a tough week. This is going to be a really tough week. Everyone is hurt. Your leaders are hurt, right? Because you don't even have a Keegan to fall back on this week if he's out with that hamstring.
you don't
You don't have
have
a
Jack
Beta.
for
You
sure
don't. Well,
now.
obviously Jack. I'm saying
Like,
when Jack's gone, who do you turn to, right?
and Rubio's out to
And
Chile.
Rubio is going to be gone. That's my point. Keegan gone. Like you have Yarby. You have to
Matsu,
like. You're going to see.
Danny, Lawless,
Then
and
you have
that's
to get
about
to your
it.
vets. Sam, Mikey, Acosta.
The issue with Mikey is that he can't communicate with half the team sometimes.
I don't know. Mikey's English is okay.
Yeah, but it also gets lost in translation.
Oh, for sure.
As I know personally when I've translated multiple times.
Yeah.
Like
But
it's hard. Like,
okay. So we talked. What does Porig have to do this
yeah,
week at work, right? And we talked. What does Frazier have to do at work this week? If you are a player, if you're pick a player, Ronan, and you're walking into work this week, where's your mind? Where's your head at? Right? Like, what are you thinking right now? Besides,
it's
what do you focus on? Like, how do you break down tape and be like, the conversation has to be so meta there. Like, it has to be like, there's no
it's
way they're just like, all right, guys, let's talk about this 5-3-2 rotations. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what happens here? What do you
it's
do? You have
such
a
a
players only meeting? Do you have do you just take everyone to the movies and hope they have a good time? Like, what the hell do you do?
that's exactly because it's such a delicate balance. It's you wanted them to be relaxed so they can be free and keep playing their game. But you
Yeah.
also don't want them to be too relaxed because then they're not gonna train and they're gonna keep making mistakes. But then you don't want them to train too hard because they overthink it and play
And
too
get
stiff.
hurt.
It's like what like
Is it a
it's
new
just a
physio
bad
staff this
team.
year? We were trying to figure this out.
I have no. I think there might be. I saw a tweet out there.
That sucks.
I
That
think there.
sucks.
I think it is a new one. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not. Don't quote me on it. Um,
It's also there's a new groundskeeper this year too, like a new guy in charge of the grounds crew.
that was such a that dude.
It's
I
a
know
rough day
Frazier.
for some new departments, my guy. Oh God.
I know for a fact Frazier was livid about that.
Of
Was
course.
livid at the pitch. That pitch was complete utter ass. I know they replaced it. I know. I'm not trying to say, oh, spend money on it, but there's something was wrong with that pitch because that pitch was completely bad.
There are some people who are going to work this week and are working on their LinkedIn page. I'll tell you that much.
Dude, I felt bad for the groundskeeper. I really did. But
I've talked to
this
him. Tanner's a good dude.
this seems like it just seems like it's a little bit this loss and that injury to me. It's not the reason they lost. It's not an excuse, but it had something to do how this game was played, and I think it affected the Rapids negatively, and it also affected Minnesota.
Yeah.
Again, Minnesota it could have been Minnesota on the other side. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but that pitch is so bad that you can really tell some of these guys are trying to like stop and they couldn't. Like you can
Yeah.
tell that they changed their style of play completely. Like
Yeah.
Ronan is really really good at doing little cutbacks, running back and forth, and you
That
can
move he put on was it Ariaga?
Ariaga, yeah.
Oh my god, it looked like Allen Iverson crossing someone up. That dude went to the dirt.
But that was also part of the what's it called, of the pitch. Like you can tell
Sure,
that
but
he
he
stopped.
shook him though. That
He
was
did shake him.
dope, dude.
He did shake him, but like you can see that he put his rear studs in, and
Yeah.
they just kept going. Like I saw the replay. Like I have the obvious advantage of seeing replay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like like again, he did shake him. Like all respect to Ronan, but also he just kept going. Like he just didn't stop. I think they just over watered the pitch, honestly.
Yeah,
And it's
maybe.
like it's because of the snow. Like there was snow, and I think
Yeah.
they accounted for it, but not as much as I thought they should have.
Yeah.
And I think they put a little bit too much, and then you can't take water out of grass, obviously.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
Should we give some flowers?
Yeah, sure.
Flowers from the fellas?
Yeah, there we go.
There it is. There it is.
I'll let you go first.
Look at those happy fellas.
I've never been happier in my life than that time that we took that picture. That picture, that day we took that picture, besides my wedding day, are the two happiest times of my life.
Look at us. Look at us. Flowers for me. Go to the back line. I know we lost 2-1.
Can we give it two? Crazy. Can we give two?
Two what?
2 flowers each?
Yeah. We can give as many as we want. It's our show. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Okay, dope. Dope. I'm glad we don't have corporate on our ass.
Yeah.
Corporate doesn't even know we exist.
Dad's not here, dude. We can do whatever we want. Oh, Kevin Nam, that's a good one. God damn it.
Yeah.
Shout out Dwayne, legend. No, dude, it goes to the back line. I think the defense has been really good, and it sucks to only have 1 point when your defense is playing well. It sucks. It sucks. And there's going to be people on Twitter and in the comments and on the subreddit that are saying that this team is terrible and there's nothing good going on. And I think the defense and Yarby, just that whole unit, the whole back 5 or 6, depending on how we're playing, have been awesome. And it sucks that they have 1 point to show for being awesome outside of the Seattle game, obviously. And it just sucks. So yeah, that's my first flowers.
You're giving it to, and then I'll give it to the obvious person, and it'll be Cole Bassett for getting the first goal of the year.
Ayo! Cole, it was a nice goal, man.
It was. It's not. Somebody was calling it a weak goal, and
it's a goal.
It's a goal. It's a good. He shook 2 guys. Like you don't shake 2 guys and call it a weak goal. It's like St. Clair should have been better. I'm like St. Clair's also not good.
Yeah, St. Clair's a buster, dude.
Like he didn't have not one good save today.
Look, when you take 315 minutes to score your first goal in the season, it is the most Rapids fan thing ever to say that the goal wasn't good enough. That is the most classic reaction on Twitter ever. Is like complaining about finally getting a goal.
I will say this. It wasn't a Rapids fan.
Okay, fair, but like, come on, dude. It's crazy.
It was some stupid guy from, I don't even want to mention him, but it was a good goal. Like
that's a good point, Grant. That's really funny.
No, but he deserves flowers. It was a good goal. He played good defensively. It was a good game for Bassett. Like it really was.
Man, we know Cole. We've spent time with him. We've had him on our show multiple times. He's, I think he understands. He's gonna look. If there's anyone who's walking into work this week with like the mindset of what do I have to do, it better be him.
Yeah.
And I think it will. I'm really curious to see the next couple games from him because it's going to take leadership. It's going to take cleaning up the mistakes. It's going to be an emphasis on communication. And look, he had a good game. He had his best game of the season so far. So good for him.
I think, again, I want to give it to Cole. I think Cole actually really deserves.
I
thought he had a good game. I really did think he had a pretty good game.
I want to give flowers to the old guys. The vets.
Just the old people in the world. Anybody that you're old.
No, Sam, Mikey, Yarby, D-Well, Like the guys that I was not in on start the season. There's plenty of tape on the internet of me not being in on those dudes, and they've been really, really effective. And that's oh man, I can't believe that I'm saying that Sam Nicholson has been the bright spot. What is happening, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And
hey,
then, we'll
absolutely.
save that one to the end. That's
Yeah.
another one.
Cool.
I want to get through these first, and then
Sure. What else you got? Anything else? Anything
one
else?
one special one that I did want to give to real quick, besides the last one we have, is Mark Henage.
You know what? He had a pretty nice game.
They have depth at left back now. So
a future, not at present, but
I mean, he's also out of contract out there this year, so
yeah, we'll see. Plenty of time to work that out, but
that's a complete, utter tongue-in-cheek statement. But I thought he had a good game.
He had a good game, for sure.
In a vacuum, I think he deserves some flowers.
I think he got beat a couple times on some, that I think, 2-3 years from now, he's just a better player and wouldn't get beat on some of these runs. And just positioning his body, especially as he's not quite as strong as some of these dudes yet. He will be, he's just not there yet. But overall, man, pretty effective game. A couple bad touches here and there, but he's young. He doesn't have a lot of minutes, and a lot of the problems are going to come with minutes. And
and also he had that great shot that almost hit.
We were talking to Beta at halftime because he was up in the box watching.
That's so funny.
And he was like, usually it's Keegan that has those in practice. Yeah, it was cool to see.
Also, they just shot the ball today, which is cool.
Yeah, shots are good. Shots help. I kept telling everyone, I'm like, Rubio's going to come in for 20 minutes and shoot 10 times. I thought it was going to be just bombs from Rubio because he's itching to get on the score sheet.
Oh, dude, he's itching to just be on the pitch.
Yeah.
Just,
happy to see him back. Happy to see him back. We won't see him for 3 weeks, so it's tough.
It's gonna be, dude. I'm dreading being a Rapids fan right now.
No, it's
why did I hitch my wagon on teams that disappoint me so much? I have no idea, but this is the Yahya way. Effing Yahya.
Way of life, dude.
Effing
way of life.
Dude,
all right.
I mean, Mexico. Yeah, this last one. Joanne. We want to shout out Joanne. Fighting through leukemia. We're not gonna say. I'm gonna tell you where I'm praying for you. If you're religious, pray for them. But I think all of us as a community, we're vibing. We're sending you good vibes, and we're hoping that you get through this. And only wishing the best for you as a true OG.
Yeah, seeing that kit with her name on it, with the club taking the picture to start the game. They say, a very common Twitter narrative is that this team doesn't care about community. And well, one, I just think that's not true. I think that's just an easy blanket statement when the team isn't playing well to be mad. Clearly, they're aware of fans and their effect on the club and the community and the fans around them. And it was a really class move by the team. I don't know. It just shouts, prayers, thoughts, healing vibes. You got a whole team and community behind you. So hopefully you'll come through this treatment on the other side, and we'll see you at a game soon. So, last note to end it. Dwayne's probably texting us about it right now. I just got a notification. Yes, we're getting there, Dwayne. Stop working. It's your birthday.
We got this, Dwayne. We have a rundown.
April 1st, next home game. LAFC, defending champs, coming to town. And it is the DNVR takeover. Pretty great deal. You got DNVR bar pickup for the C38 bus. We will hand you a DNVR Rapids scarf. We will have a bunch of free beers for you from Breckenridge Brewing. We will cover your C38 entrance and a ticket to the game. And we've already sold some, so that's tight. These are the little things that help the higher ups invest in us, so we can invest in this community and this fan base and this little weird pocket of the internet that we've created. Is people coming up to this. So I know a bunch of you are season ticket members, and that's fine. But if you have friends who are trying to get into the team, this is a way to not just have someone show up to a game. This is the community part of it. This is having fun together. This is people on a hopefully sunny, beautiful April Saturday, pounding brews, eating dev dogs, and then cheering on your team. They get a scarf that says "Up the Pids." We all love saying "Up the Pids," and it's just a way to have some people dive in. So tell your friends if you're an STM, give your STM tickets to someone else and buy tickets to this or whatever it takes.
It'll be a lot of fun. We're gonna have DNVR people out there with us.
Yeah, dude, it's a great time. The DNVR folks know how to have fun at a sporting event, believe it or not. We're all pretty practiced
whether the
at that.
team is good or not. Like, we've done it at Rockies games and we've had a blast. So.
Rockies games, Nuggets games, Avs games, Broncos
yeah, but
tailgates.
Those are good though, at least. I mean, the Broncos aren't, but
yeah, the Broncos have been terrible, and those tailgates were popping this year. So.
Yeah,
look, we know how to have a good time, and we know how to have a good time together. We like bringing the community together. So let's do that. Right.
Also, I want to correct myself real quick. It's Joan, not Joanne. Second language. Don't know how to read or write. I apologize. It's okay. Joan, not Joanne.
Yeah, that's okay. Look, it's 11:30 because these 7:30 start times. Why couldn't you have started them at 6:30 if you're going to change it? Why not? Really sucks. So
yeah, I mean 1 hour more I think would actually be an hour earlier would be nice.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Seeing the standings right now, man, and it's brutal.
Stop looking at it. Look at the camera. Don't look at it. Stop.
I mean, it's the worst right now. The Rapids are the worst team in the league. Chicago Fire.
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware, dude. I've been there.
with more games played. So
analysis, we stink.
Analysis, we're all gonna leave here really sad for the next year.
Man,
is it December yet?
No. Here's the other thing about this takeover. This is why I think it's fun. Is like this is how you have fun with the Rapids right now. You get a bunch of people together with the express purpose of having a good time at a sporting event. Right? Like,
yeah,
this is what we do. This is, in merch, before we kind of built out our office, I was kind of merch, events, doing all sorts of stuff. But now we have people in their places. This is what we do. This is what DNVR specializes in right here. There are events like this. So please tell your friends, buy your tickets. It's going to be a great time. Anything else you want to plug right now, my guy?
We can just final end of show plugs that we always do. Follow the DNVR Rapids. Give us a 5-star review anywhere you listen to. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Please give us a like on this video. Likes help out a lot. I forgot to say it at the beginning, but like. If you're listening to it on a podcast platform, doesn't matter. Go give the video a like. It just helps us. It helps the community, us grow as a podcast. So that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, become a DNVR diehard. You get 20% off your merchandise. You get 15% off your bar tab. You get into the Discord channels. You get all sorts of cool shit. You get to hang out with us. Let's see. Buy your takeover tickets. Buy them. Let's see. What else, dude?
The Rapids might just have the biggest comeback ever, according to Dwayne. Biggest comeback in MLS season history and come back and win the league.
You know what's funny is usually when we start this negative, by the end you're predicting a home playoff game. So we'll see.
I'm not predicting it this time.
You don't have to go to. You only have to get to 9th place, man. That's it. You just gotta get to 9th.
You know what I'm predicting? Wooden spoon. Wooden spoon. Don't break my heart, Rapids. Give me at least one trophy to hold.
Let's go. All right, guys. Thank you for riding with us. We'll be back on Thursday. I believe our regular time on Thursday.
It should be, but stay tuned.
Keep an eye on the Twitters. We'll let you know when we're coming back. Potential in-studio guests this week. Soon. We got some fun ones lined up. Other than that, man, you know what it is. Up the pits.